Saitama Seibu Lions ace Tatsuya Imai is headed to Major League Baseball via the posting system. So who exactly is Imai, how good is he, and what should his expectations be as he transitions to playing in North America? Flashback to almost a decade ago, and the Tochigi native was one of the better high school talents in the nation, helping Samurai Japan to the 2016 U18 World Cup title, leading to his selection by Seibu in the first round of the NPB draft. He made his big league debut in 2018 and picked out of the rotation with mostly below average results for several seasons, partially due to his inexperience, command issues, and a few smaller injuries. However, 2021 would be his breakthrough, as the right-hander was a first-time All-Star after throwing 158 innings with a 3.30 ERA. He even beat Yoshinobu Yamamoto in a head-to-head matchup on May 5th and set a career high with 13 strikeouts and a complete game shutout on September 11th. He only made 9 starts in 2022 due to various health issues, including a leg injury, ankle sprain, and tonsillitis, but he had a lot of success over a small sample, posting a 2.41 ERA and 25% strikeout rate. His 2023 campaign had some major ups and downs in the early going. He had an 11 strikeout complete game shutout on April 13th, he threw 6 no-hit innings while walking 7 batters on April 28th, and then he had one of the worst starts of his career with 8 earned runs in 2+ innings on May 24th, a start I remember because I happened to be at the game that day, leading to a temporary minor league assignment in June. Well, that seemed to light a fire under him as he hurled 8 innings of 1-run ball in his first start back, and he really hit the ground running from there and finished with a 1.41 ERA over his final 12 starts. And I think that was really around the time that Imai finally found some consistency as he took that momentum right into 2024, posting a career-best 173 innings while maintaining a 2.34 ERA, which is good for a 1.25 ERA plus in the dead ball environment. Now, his control of the strike zone still wasn't great. He had 3 walks or more in over half his starts, but it was the lowest walk rate of his career at 10%, and he was able to lead qualified pitchers with a 26% K rate, so this effectively wild approach was very much working for him. But then we get to 2025, and this is when Imai truly puts it all together, as he took a sub-1 ERA into the month of June. His most memorable start from early in the season came on April 18th when he threw 8 no-hit innings, greatly contributing to his team's combined no-hitter. He even had 16 consecutive quality starts dating back from August 24th of last year until June 7th, a new level of consistency we really hadn't seen from him before. Then came the most dominant outing of his life on June 17th. He fired a 2-hit complete game shutout on 123 pitches with 27 whiffs and 17 strikeouts, breaking Daisuke Matsuzaka's single-game franchise record. But actually, what stood out to me most about this historic start wasn't the 17 strikeouts, it was that he didn't walk a single batter. And that sort of symbolizes Imai's evolution as a pitcher, as he finished 2025 with a career-best 7% walk rate and 66% strike rate, following a trend of him improving that strike-throwing ability each and every year. Now, he struggled a bit in July, but otherwise was excellent, ending his campaign with a 1.92 ERA or a 1.56 ERA plus over 163 2/3 innings. He was pretty definitively a top 2 or top 3 starter in NPB, leading all qualifiers with a 28% strikeout rate and 16% swinging strike rate. But what exactly is Imai doing as a pitcher to achieve these results? Well, the 27-year-old is a bit unorthodox to say the least. When facing same-handed opposition, Imai relies on his four-seam fastball and slider 93% of the time. And he absolutely obliterates them with a 32% K rate and 173 opponent average versus righties since 2024. And the reason he can be such an effective 2-pitch guy is because his fastball sits 95+ miles per hour from a lower release height and arm angle, and his slider features a very unique, tight movement profile, often with arm side break, making it more of a reverse slider or gyro ball. It had a gaudy 53% whiff rate against righties, and he really consciously changed the shape of this pitch a few seasons ago because it tunnels better with the fastball compared to, say, a more traditional slider or sweeper. The fastball shape isn't elite by any means, but again, he sits 95 to 96, he can run it up to 98, 99 in high leverage situations, and the arm side run going into righties is just highly effective from his release point. Against lefties though, Imai has to diversify, and dealing with those platoon splits was a clear weakness in his past seasons. But he made big strides in his other secondaries in 2025, mixing in a changeup splitter and a new Vulcan change late in the year, which he refers to as a sinker because he learned it from his teammate Ryota Itogawa. He used those 3 off-speed weapons plus his curveball a combined 29% of the time against left-handers in 2025, and that helped him get to a career-best 25% strikeout rate and 180 opponent batting average. In fact, this was his first time ever posting an xFIP minus better than league average versus opposite hand hitters. So with a reliable fastball slider combo to righties, newfound success to lefties, overall improved locations, and a full healthy year, it's no wonder that Imai was able to have a career season. When you consider player comps, you can make a lot of parallels to Luis Castillo, who has a lot of these similar shapes, including that unorthodox gyro slider. For a higher upside comp, perhaps Joe Ryan is whom Imai could model his game after. And I'd even throw out Treyas Savage, who is so different in terms of the high slot and high ride fastball, but does have the same characteristics when it comes to that very unique arm side slider. Now, my main concerns for Imai in MLB are whether his changeup and splitter will consistently neutralize lefties, at least as ground ball pitches, and how steady his command will be if he needs to pitch out of a 5-man rotation instead of a 6-man. Having a great framer behind the plate would obviously help with this. And then whether controlling the running game will become a liability. He allowed the most stolen bases in NPB this past year, in large part because he really wasn't focused on holding runners. That said, you can tell that Imai has made not just subtle but pretty noticeable changes throughout his entire career, especially mechanically. I think he's really open to tweaking things, thinking about his strengths and weaknesses as a player, and he's always looking for what will give him the competitive edge. I think an MLB organization that gives him the runway to grow into a frontline starter, maybe even one of the faces of the franchise, while still helping him refine these smaller parts of his game, maybe adding in a sweeper or a hard sinker, maybe lowering the arm slot even more, would be the ideal landing spot for him. His floor is certainly lower than some others because the command is average at best and the arsenal isn't as deep as, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, but I think his ceiling is like a more durable version of Kodai Senga, a potential number 2 in the rotation. So I'm really excited to see where he goes, and I wish him all the luck in Major League Baseball. Thanks for watching. This has been Yuri Kurosawa with JapanBall.com. Make sure to check out all of Japan Ball's socials on X, Facebook, and Instagram for news, updates, and analysis on Japanese baseball. Also check out ExtraInningsTravel.com for information on international baseball tours, including to Japan.